going live? We are live already. Fantastic. Now, this one was very last minute, but I just want to give you a bit of an update on what I think are the likely scenarios for this weekend. So bear with me, guys, while I post this in the group and on Twitter. Feel free to share it, guys, in all your favorite groups as well. Quick update. Live on YouTube. Fantastic. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey Dan, you didn't know it was on? Well, neither did I 5 minutes ago, but I just want to share some thoughts with you about what's happening this weekend, because we've had a lot of volatility and we've got the Bitcoin up the top here and Ethereum down the bottom. We've had a tremendous run. I mean, this run that Bitcoin's had has just been awesome lately. And I think we're kind of getting somewhere near the top, but geez, haven't we been saying that a lot lately? So Bitcoin can always go higher when it gets into these parabolas. And we may very well have one more sharp leg higher. You know, it's more of a time thing than watching any sort of levels. So we'll talk about what we can expect. Shared in Kyle's Discord. He's going to love you for that. Yeah, smashing the likes helps you guys know the story. When alt season, says Luke. Well, you know, fingers crossed this is what we hope is setting up for this weekend. Ethereum just hit its starting engines. That is right. G'day from Texas, says Sam. I have been to Texas once. I was young though. All right, so let's get into it now. We've got nearly 200 watching. So I just want to talk about where we are in the grand scheme of things. And these are the two charts that we should all be watching at the moment. Whether or not Bitcoin can make another high. Let's just go to the individual charts here for a second. So Bitcoin did look to kind of be topping out a little bit this morning. I mean, you can argue that it's got a bit of bearish divergence now, where it's made this lower high, but price has still trended higher. And momentum is kind of waning a little bit and rolling over. But what you've got to keep in mind is in these crypto bull markets, a lot of the traditional levels and TA can go out the window a little bit. And what it becomes more about is, have we had a blow off top? And to be honest, I don't think we've had that yet. This has been kind of grindy higher, whereas these things can often finish with a move that's, you know, $1,000 sort of straight up. And I'm not ruling out that we don't have something like that where we just shoot to 20K this weekend. To me, it more depends on the stock market. Now, this isn't the sort of thing that you want to FOMO and chase either. This is what goes up must come down. So this could create a gap. We could have the whales push this really hard over the weekend so that it opens up and then it's slammed down, something like that. So look, all that is possible, but at the same time, I think it more depends on what happens in the stock market, in the S&P 500, which in and of itself is kind of trying to form a top, I think, and there's a lot of uncertainty around the election, so we've got to wait and see how that plays out. And that couldn't close above that level again there. So they're the kind of things that I am watching. If stock markets are okay, or even if they're a bit red today, as long as it's not a crash or a lot of fear, then maybe we can still set up something quite good for Bitcoin into the weekend, or for the other coins, I should probably say. So if Bitcoin tops out now, and this is where it's got to get over. It's just been trending down throughout the day. So this is the kind of the lines that I'm watching, but it's for me, I'm more excited about what is going on with Ethereum and all the alts. So just today in the last few hours, or let's just put on a 5-minute chart, and we can see what's been happening with Bitcoin. It's had another bit of a jump here, but if we have a look at something like the DeFi index, that gives us a good representation of the DeFi coins. You can see how that's had a really strong day today, and it's having a little bit of a pullback, similar to Ethereum. Ethereum just absolutely rocketed higher just before, and that's what I've been posting about in the group, saying I really think that this Bitcoin Ethereum pair that we look for, it's a good gauge of how alts are going to perform. For the last sort of all this period here, I've been talking about a bottom forming and watching that and zoom in, and I really did feel that this was the capitulation last week, and I think I tweeted at the time and posted at the time. That is a very impulsive move. Now we've corrected back down around the 50% fib level here, and just today when we go back down the time frames, we finally got that move that I was sort of just itching and hoping for, because when Bitcoin puts in its top, it's not a sign that the world's over for crypto. And here was particular on the low time frames, you can see these like the big buyers come in, and what this shows you, what this can show you, is that let's go back to the other chart, and let's put this top one on the ETH Bitcoin pair. Let's get this bar on with the volume. So this one here with the two candles, two big buying volume candles, we're on Binance there. So let's get the ETH Binance pair. Is that the one? Yes. All right, let's try and line these up. So where are we? This time of day here was this one here. So that was a big sell order, and then another week here. What I was expecting, or what I was hoping, or what it can sometimes show you, is that the whales, or one or two whales, is all it takes to start this movement, and they rotate out of Bitcoin and they put some money in ETH or some of the other alts, the DeFi, and that you can see that show up as these big candles and whatever. So once one whale does it, or a big trading group, or it's the mood starts to change on crypto Twitter, I try and tweet this stuff out when I feel that something is changing, and then other people might start to move and say, this, that, or the other. They've got their own opinions on their own different coins, and that all sort of adds to the momentum and that shift. But that is the very thing that we have to watch at the moment. If the ETH Bitcoin pair can start to outperform here, then it doesn't really matter if Bitcoin has put in a top, and Bitcoin can just sort of tread water. It can find a trading range, between its top 16,500 almost perfectly, I think it was, probably back down to somewhere here, 14,500, and maybe it just chops around in there, like, Charty Man Dan calls them his equilibrium patterns that he loves. And this can last for weeks and weeks. So we just chop around in here, form another one of those pennants or triangles or wedges that we see in crypto so often, and that gives the perfect amount of time for that money just to rotate between alts, and the traders have a lot of fun. We're heading into the end of the year. These are the sort of times back in 2017, wasn't it? December, January, alt season, everyone getting excited about alts. So it's kind of fits the model of the timing of what we've seen in the past. And I get overexcited. I watch the low time frames too much and probably read into it too quickly, but we've got to see that happen on a higher time frame. So, it's very significant for these coins that are normally so closely related and correlated. If we can see a period where Bitcoin has a few red candles and ETH can go up, it's very different to what we are so used to, and that can be a direct result of the money flowing into one from the other, or it can be new money flowing into the space. It doesn't necessarily have to be a straight swap. This is the total market cap of all coins, so this is really healthy that it's still growing, and this does look like it's starting to go parabolic, doesn't it? We're up to $460 billion. So it's still below its resistance, and that tells you how much alts have really lagged, doesn't it? What was the record? About 750, give or take. Okay. So yeah, I think this cycle we're probably going to crack the $1 trillion for the first time, which is going to be awesome. Look at this on a log chart. It's almost a perfect straight line, isn't it? I mean, the amount of money and the exponential growth in crypto hasn't really slowed, depending on how you look at it. So total is all the coins. Total 2 is just the altcoins. So you exclude Bitcoin. And I think Troy and Kyle did a detailed video about this today. If you want some more info, head over to their YouTube channel. This is nice, isn't it? Just breaking out, retesting, and maybe alts can go off to the races. So, I mean, some of my fondest memories of these alt seasons on weekends, because everyone's on crypto Twitter. The US is up really late. Everyone's talking and tweeting their favorite coins. So, look, I know some of you are maximalists, and we all love Bitcoin, but I quite like it when it has pause. And you'd probably prefer that than for it to continue higher when it's had this parabolic move, and more so even on the weekly chart. So weekly RSI up to 80, that can get up to 90. But the thing is, when it gets up to 90, and when it instead of having a bit of a correction from here, when it keeps going higher and it goes from RSI 80 to RSI 90, that normally means that you're in for a year or two crypto winter. So it's all well and good to keep cheering the price up, but honestly, it's way healthier to have market structure, pullbacks, then continue higher. We don't necessarily want to blow off top just yet. All right, so that's my kind of thoughts there. I did just want to share one or two more things. No, not you. Sorry, Sam. This was a beautiful chart I just found on June Analytics. So a couple of weeks ago, everyone was cheering about DeFi being dead, and I kept talking about the actual metrics behind the scenes. It's all very healthy and still growing. Now, I had a rough idea of those, but I hadn't seen the actual specific numbers here. So this is June Analytics, another fantastic site. Add it to your list for all your research. The number of users here, total number of DeFi users, this is June, July, August. So now we're at 870,000 in the mid-November. So start of October. So 400 mid-September. So yeah, I mean, that's doubled in less than 2 months. These are crazy. Remember, like, the prices topped, and I said, harping on about taking profits, and you guys were getting angry at me because things were still going up. But I think it was late August where we actually topped for most of these coins. And so just look at that. Look at the growth. It's actually accelerating and going parabolic since price topped. And this to me is just another fantastic example of the signal versus the noise. I can almost guarantee that no one watching this video, unless you've been to this data or seen someone talk about it today, would have been aware of this if you got all your news from Twitter or from the shilly YouTubers, or your friends in the crypto groups that there's all the excitement and a lot of trash, those kind of things. It's very, very rare that you can look at this data and not have an emotional approach to things and reactions. Just about every project here is growing its users numbers. I just love seeing this sort of stuff, and it always gives me confidence. In the very depths of crypto winter, one of my favorite things to do is to go back and watch the old videos of, maybe it's Andreas Antonopoulos just giving one of his fantastic talks, or Vitalik. And probably over the past few weeks where I've been recording the DeFi interview and interviewing people like Vitalik, there's just no doubt in my mind that Ethereum is going higher and it's on track and it's all good. So looking forward to that. One thing I'll just mention quickly, next Wednesday for members, we've got the early screening of the Vitalik not the documentary, the interview. So the interview went for 90 minutes. It's a documentary in and of itself. So it's him and I talking for 90 minutes about everything crypto. And then I think that's like a bit of a teaser for Real Vision to help launch their new crypto platform. And then once they launch that, I think a couple of weeks later, so we'll be sort of December-ish by then, that is when they're talking about doing the actual release of the documentary. And again, members, you will get that early as well as the Real Vision crowd. One thing we are thinking about doing in Decentraland is like a sort of Christmas meetup or end of year party, because we haven't been able to go around Australia this year and do our normal meetups. So when we do those, we always usually do them for free. And if you went to one of those, you'll remember back in summer of 2017-18 when we had hundreds of people hanging from the rafters literally in pubs at one point. But one thing we always also used to do was hold a paid dinner. So if some people do want to go to a paid dinner, for members, I put up a post last night. We're doing a bit of a reverse raffle. So the tickets that you can buy are actually an NFT. So you'll get to keep the NFT, but it'll give you access to this early screening. Watch the Vitalik interview with myself. We'll stop and have a chat during it. Then I'll chat to you about the documentary and what I'm most excited about there. And then we'll just have some drinks or virtual dinner. And whether or not we can do that in Decentraland, if we build our headquarters in time, or we'll just do it over our interview software that we normally do. So that's limited to only 20 tickets. And that post I put up in the group last night for members if you're interested. So a Dutch auction, the way that we ran that was it starts off at a really high ticket price because there's only 20, and we've got some high net worth guys in our group who normally like to attend these things. So the ticket price drops, I think it's every 12 hours. So if it's out of your budget, or you're thinking you might want to go, you can wait. And if no one bids on them, it gets down to keeps going down until eventually gets to, I think, half an ether. And then still, if no one claims it, if no one at all wants to have a drink and a virtual get together with me, then they'll be free. They'll be giveaways, so you can stalk those if you like. Questions? Maximus, thank you for the $10 donation, my friend. ETH deadline. Good point. Let's check that out. Crypto. Not again. This happened yesterday, didn't it? And yesterday I found it. Didn't I? Oh God, not again. ETH2 stakes. Oh no. I'm sure I say that for you guys, didn't I, last week? ETH to deposit contract, ETH2 meter. This will be it. We've got an updated version here, created by Real Mills. Give us the link to the website, Millsy. But this is still struggling. And I think a lot of people are now realizing, well, are we going to get there? I think we're definitely going to get there. The only question is how many nodes will we have? That is so frustrating. Does anyone know the name of that website? I can't believe I didn't save it last time. I'm sure that I did. Most people will wait as long as possible. Yes, absolutely. Heaps of DeFi coins are up big, yes. What do you do with existing ETH units? No, you do nothing. It will automatically do it all for you. Smash the like button. Thanks, guys. Yes, nearly at 100k subs. Oh boy, can anyone think of that website? I cannot believe that I'm sure that I bookmarked it. No. Well, they are all good websites as well for you guys to mark down. No. Okay. I do apologize. The website I'm referring to, launchpadethereum.org. Oh, that is it. Thank you. Who was that? Elzan Salmanov. I love your work. So, very, very slow start. 10%, 15% of the way. And as I say, I think Vitalik... but does Vitalik have that many ETH? Yeah, he does. So Vitalik, in theory, could deposit all his ETH if worse comes to worse. But I think the devs maybe underestimated how many people have got other options where they can get a better yield elsewhere. And just there's a lot going on at the moment with the election. I think sometimes the devs live in their own little bubble. A lot of people, it's quite technical, and even technical people are saying, I think I'm just going to hold off a little bit. So I don't know if there's that big of an incentive. But if very few people do it, actually, you get I think it ends up being like a 37% yield. So it's quite a high yield that you're going to get the fewer people do it. And that is the part that, in theory, is meant to be very attractive and encourage people to do it. So let's say that there's 100 million ETH, and then only 10 million of those ETH come and stake. They get all the rewards. So they're splitting the pool between 10 million people, whereas if half the people, 50 million ETH, come and stake, then those rewards are getting split between 5 times as many people. So that is why it is still a bit of an incentive to do this, because yes, you're locked up, but we're already hearing about whether it's Rocket Pool or there's 2 or 3 others that are out there now. I heard about another one today that's different again. The guys over at Bankless covered this, so let's just have a look. They did an interview with them today. Liquid Stake it was called. And this looked very cool. And so they're kind of helping you out. I think they're doing it in like a different legal way. And they've got a lot of high net worth, like professional clients and funds doing it. So g'day to the guys from Liquid Stake if you know them or you think that they're watching this. stake directly with Liquid Stake. You can borrow USDC against your staked ETH. So that's an interesting concept. It's like the make or die system. And if you're a bit of a degen and you want to risk it, all the USDC that you get, in theory, you can go and buy more ETH and then deposit that ETH, and then you get more USDC and create a big leverage position, which is very dangerous. But yeah, this has got big backers already. Okay. Bison Trails is another one. So they're doing this. This is kind of like a layer that sits on top of the staking layers. So Bison Trails are the stakers, for example, and Circle. But these guys will say, okay, if you've got your staked ETH and you're doing that, we'll let you borrow against it. And that is one of those reasons they're trying to solve that problem of people saying, well, I don't want to put my ETH in because I'll have all that money locked up. Well, they'll let you borrow against that. So that's cool. Once again, an example of how the brilliant people in this space, they see problems and they try to solve them. How are we going there for time, guys? I don't want to make this one a super late one, so I might wrap it up soon. But that is the big picture. That is what I'm watching this weekend. I'm not too worried about Bitcoin if it does form a top, because ideally, unless the stock market gets a bit nasty tonight, and at the moment it's looking pretty healthy, like it wants to make another charge towards record highs. Gold and silver not doing too much. Sideways action after that big rejection. That's the things you want to keep your eye on. And the altcoins, well done to those people that held their conviction and they were buying the different alts throughout the recent weeks when the correction got pretty nasty. This is the DeFi index. Bang, big drop there, more than 50%. Okay, so that'll do for tonight, guys. Have a good weekend. I will talk to you on Sunday night when we do our big news wrap up, and let's see if we can have one of these exciting weekends like we have throughout history. So smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and I'll talk to you Sunday night. Cheers.